What is ozone layer? A layer in the Earth's stratosphere at an altitude of about 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles, containing a high concentration of ozone, which absorbs most of the ultraviolet radiation reaching the Earth from the Sun. What is UV radiation? Ultraviolet, UV, light is electromagnetic radiation with a wavelength shorter than that of visible light but longer than X-rays, that is, in the range between approximately 400 nm and 10 nm, corresponding to photon energies from 3.1 eV to 124 eV. See below for a table of the different subtypes of the ultraviolet spectrum. It is so named because the spectrum consists of electromagnetic waves with higher frequencies and shorter wavelengths than those visible to humans as the color violet. Why are UV radiations harmful? The harmful effects from exposure to ultraviolet, UV, radiation can be classified as acute or chronic. The acute effects of UV and UVB exposure are both short-lived and reversible. These effects include mainly sunburn, or erythema, and tanning, or pigment darkening. The chronic effects of UV exposure can be much more serious, even life-threatening, and include premature aging of the skin, suppression of the immune system, damage to the eyes, and skin cancer. Sunburn, erythema, tanning, premature aging of the skin, suppression of the immune system, eye damage, skin cancer. How to control UV radiation? UV radiation should be contained or confined to a restricted area when practicable. UV radiation can be easily contained with opaque materials, such as cardboard or wood. Transparent materials, such as glass, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, plexiglass and perspex, block UV radiation in varying degrees. Generally, carbonated plastics provide adequate UV protection. Some kinds of clear glass, including some kinds of window glass and optical glass, transmit significant amounts of UV radiation. A high-power UV source should have interlocked access, so that it is shut off when the protective enclosure is open. What is chlorofluorocarbon? Chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, composed of elements chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. Developed in 1930 by DuPont. CFCs were welcomed by industries. Low toxicity, chemical stability, cheap usage, as refrigerants, as blowing agents for making flexible foam, as cleaning agents, as propellants. Depletion of ozone layer. Chlorine atoms from CFCs attack the ozone, taking away ozone and forming chlorine monoxide. Chlorine monoxide then combines with another oxygen atom to form a new oxygen molecule and a chlorine atom. The chlorine atom is free to destroy up to 100,000 ozone molecules. What has been done to prevent old? Ban the use of CFCs as aerosol propellants. The Vienna Convention on the Protection of the Ozone Layer in 1985. Governments committed themselves to protect the ozone layer and to cooperate with each other to improve understanding of ozone crisis. The Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer, adopted by governments in 1987, aims to reduce and eventually eliminate the emissions of man-made ozone-depleting substances. Sunwise School Program by EPA of the U.S. Phase out of production of CFCs substitutes for CFCs. How do scientists monitor the ozone level in the stratosphere? Are the measurements accurate? Monitoring. 1970s, 67. Measuring stations at ground level. Uneven distribution. Too short to identify statistically significant trends. Calculations contain inherent uncertainties and incomplete scientific description built in the computer program. B. 1979. Total ozone mapping spectrometer on satellites, TOMS. Global data available. How serious is the problem of ozone depletion? Seriousness of ozone depletion. 1992. Average ozone concentration is 2-3% lower than before. Northern parts of Europe and Canada 20% lower in 93 winter. Antarctic 50-90% lower every winter. Will the Montreal Protocol save the ozone layer? Montreal Protocol came too late. Countries which had signed the protocol had not taken any immediate and practical action. The chemicals already produced will continue to seep into the atmosphere and attack the ozone layer. Many countries refused to cut down the use of CFCs, for example, China/India, unless they get some financial help in meeting their demand. Are there any relationships between the greenhouse effect and ozone depletion? Similarities between GHG and ozone depletion issue. Long-term environmental impact which affect future generations, for example food supply. Prediction of future impact involves scientific uncertainties, global problem. Difficult to impose environmental regulations. Clash with economic interests or conflicts among countries. No immediate action to deal with the problem, although many conferences concerning about this problem.